What's up YouTube, jDantastic here, and today we are playing some Xenoverse 1. You're going to notice that I'm a little bit bigger than I normally am when I play Xenoverse, but today the focus isn't actually really on the gameplay behind me, it's about what I wanted to talk about with you guys. So the other day, I put up a video about my top 3 pieces of feedback for Bandai about what I feel should be updated for the upcoming release of Xenoverse 2, and the top 3 things that I think would make that a good game, a better game than this one here. And while most of you agreed with me, there was a lot of positive feedback on there. A lot of you said, you know, this list is great, this is exactly what I had in mind, this is good, I would add this, and this. And yes, thank you so much for that support. However, there were a handful of you, a decent amount of you, that said, you know, you kind of left out the single player aspect of it. What about the story mode? What about that kind of stuff? And I kind of addressed it a little bit at the end of the video, but I didn't really go into too much detail about why I picked the things that I pick and why I didn't really focus on the story mode too much. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that and talk to you about some of the stuff that I didn't think was that great about the single player experience, things that I think could be improved upon for Xenoverse 2, things that I really despised for in Xenoverse 1. And so I'm going to talk about the single player experience a little bit about today, and some of the stuff that I would like to see in Xenoverse 2 when it comes up, some of which I think have already been addressed in a few of the updates. I don't think there's too much that we have to worry about there. So basically some of the stuff that I think could be tightened up in Xenoverse 2 for the single player experience is better AI for the computer, so that they're not just, you know, literally tanks. Like some of the missions, the computer was literally just a tank. They weren't a good fighter. They were just super strong. They didn't stagger. They never staggered when you hit them, even if it was a powerful hit. And so it didn't feel like their fighting skill level went up. It just felt like they just artificially made it more difficult. And to a lot of people, that's not really a difficulty. That's just more of an annoyance, because it's not really any harder to beat. It's just more time consuming, I guess. It doesn't require you to be more masterful, so to speak, because you still have to do the same stuff, because the computer's going to do the same stuff. So you just have to fight a little bit longer because they're harder to kill. So there is that aspect of it. The number one thing that I did not enjoy in Xenoverse 1 was the RNG for the parallel quest missions. You could literally grind over and 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 still not get the move that you want. Meanwhile, someone does the quest one time and they've got the move that they wanted, or they got the armor that they wanted, or the Z-Soul that they wanted, or the Dragon Balls they dropped right away. And again, that doesn't feel like, you know, I want to be rewarded based on my skill. I don't want to be rewarded because I'm lucky. I want to get the stuff out of the game because I'm good at the game, because I have mastered the game to a certain extent where I deserve to be rewarded for that. Now, that's not to say that there can be some stuff that's randomly generated. You know, if clothing doesn't really have that much of an effect on stats, then sure, maybe it can be a little bit more random. Or if it's just like small light stuff that doesn't really affect the gameplay, sure, make it be random. You know, it just shows up. But if it's something that is literally holding you back, and that's the way that I look at it, if you are unable to get an item solely based because you're unlucky, then it's holding you back from playing the game. Because if you go to play online and someone else was lucky enough to get that attack, or get that Z-Soul, or get that special suit of armor, then you're at a disadvantage solely because you're unlucky. That's literally it. Just because the game has decided not to give you that item yet, it has nothing to do with your skill level, because some of them, it was a mixture of both. You know, it was, you have to complete it in this amount of time, you have to defeat the people in this order, you can't let any of your teammates die. So there were stipulations like that are kind of skill-based, but then it would still come down to RNG. So you would accomplish all of the things that it told you that you had to accomplish, and then it would still be random. Still, after all that, and you could play, there was a few of them that I literally spent days trying to get these moves or trying to get these items, and it just seemed really awful. I mean, it was really tedious. I hated it. I ranted about it a lot too. So that is one thing that I for sure certainly hope they fix in Xenoverse 2, is the RNG, and I think they did. I don't know that for a fact yet, but the talk around it so far has been that they did update that, because I think they did get a lot of feedback about that, about how the RNG was just, it was too painful. What else could there be? I mean, there's a, you know, if you want to get really nitpicky, like the mouths didn't move in cutscenes, you know, when people were talking back and forth to one another, and their mouths didn't move. You know, that's something that can be updated. You know, that's something that can be improved, and it's kind of a small thing. You know, and it's the reason that I didn't include those kind of single player things is because they're not really necessary to have a good game. I mean, they are, like, don't get me wrong there, but the improvements, I feel like, for a single player experience are almost to be expected. Like, you don't necessarily have to talk about you don't have to tell Bandai that you want a tighter story. You know, you don't have to tell Bandai that you want a better AI, because that stuff should come. And if it doesn't, then, you know, we're going to be let down a little bit, because those are the updates that get made from game to game, you know, from the first in the series to the sequel in the series. Those are updates that come almost automatically. You know, the AI should always get better from one game to the next. The storyline should always be, you know, built upon what was the basis from the first game. Stuff that didn't work in the first game, like the RNG, that should be addressed. But at the same time, you know, those things besides the RNG, because that was literally the devil, all of that other stuff is, you know, in Xenoverse was okay. It was okay. I really enjoyed the story in Xenoverse. I thought it was cool to get a different take on it. I've said this hundreds of times. I think the storyline in Xenoverse was really a really cool adaptation, because not only did we get to enjoy the Dragon Ball Z story that we know and love so much, we get to enjoy it from a completely different viewpoint. We get to enjoy it as ourselves. We get to enjoy it as our character. And things happen differently. You know, you were affecting the outcome of the story, and I thought that was really cool. It was kind of something that hadn't really been done before, and it wasn't just the same. And I say this with a grain of salt, because I obviously enjoy the storyline of Dragon Ball Z, but it wasn't just that same story again. You know, we've had that story. We've played through that story 100 times. We know that story. We love that story. So it's great to see a different take on it with Xenoverse. And while, you know, it could have been, you know, maybe it could have been a little bit more exciting. Maybe the enemies could have been a little bit more deadly. You know, maybe the plot line could have been a little bit tighter, and you know, maybe the choices could have been a little bit deeper. You could have had you know, different ways to go through the storyline based on your own decisions. I mean, these are all things that, you're right, you're absolutely right, those things would make a better game, but they don't fix the core issues with the game. You know, those things don't fix hit detection. They don't fix online issues. They don't fix the time limit feeling too short. You know, those things are stuff that I look at that would be nice. Like, I think about those things and I think to myself, that would be nice to have. Do I need it before I need my hits to land? No, I don't. I don't need those things before I need my hits to be in the game. And that's kind of what I said with, like, the characters too, you know? More characters is great. I'm a character hog. I want as many characters as possible in the game. That's the kind of person that I am. That's what I want for my Dragon Ball Z game. I'm literally not paying attention to this fight, and I'm getting myself stomped out right now. But is it crucial? Is it crucial to have those characters in the game to be a good game? No, it's not. I enjoyed Xenoverse plenty, and it didn't have those characters in the game. So those aren't going to be, I'm going to lose. So those aren't going to be something that I'm going to demand to be in the second game. We've already seen that there are going to be new characters, though, so we don't even have to worry about that. We don't have to make those demands. There's already talks of the RNG being different, so we don't necessarily have to worry about that so much. You know, the hub is bigger, the city is bigger. You know, we're going beyond Toki City. You can fly around. There's all kinds of stuff that they're already fixing that we haven't, you know, that we wanted to see fixed. And they're kind of already addressing those in the single player aspect of it. And so that is kind of why I left that stuff out. it's not because I don't agree with you, and it's not because I don't think that those points are important. It's not that I think that those points aren't necessary. I care about those points just as much as you guys. I love the single player mode in video games. I feel like one of the few people that plays Call of Duty games and plays through the single player campaign every time. I mean, most people just buy Call of Duty, they take it out of the package, they put it in, they're killing their friends online, they never even touch the storyline. I want to play through the storyline. I love single player games, I love single player storylines, and so obviously for one of my favorite series, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z related games, I want the storyline to be cool. I want it to be, I want it to feel great and smooth and intense and feel like I'm a part of it. But, it's not, I don't think that it's an integral part of the game, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, yes, it's very important, but it's not the most important thing, especially because the basis for the Dragon Ball storyline is already there. The storyline is already there, so what they're adding in on top is kind of just like cool, fun stuff. So, I mean, they can only mess it up so much, really, if you think about it, because at the end of the day, the storyline is it's already written. So unless they start doing like what if battles again, which would be really cool, which Xenoverse kind of is. It kind of is one big what if battle, but at the end of the day, everything wrapped up like it was supposed to in the end. And here I am kind of rambling on again. See, this is why I scripted the other video, because I would just ramble on and on like this. But I wanted to make a video like this because I don't want you guys to think like, oh, I'm just ignoring the feedback or ignoring the issues that we saw with single player and that kind of stuff. That's not the case at all. I want my single player to be just as fun as the next person, because I'm gonna play single player more than online when the game comes out, and then I'll slowly shift to online. Like, that's exactly what happened to Xenoverse. When I started playing Xenoverse, I played story mode. All I played was story mode. I played through it several times. I played through it on PS4. I played through it on PC. I beat all the PQs. I did all the grinding. I did this. All of it was single player. Once I was done with all of that, I felt like I had completed the story. I felt like I had, reached a certain point. Then I could go online and start fighting my friends. I could take it elsewhere. So what I do is I grind through the single player, and then I start, taking advantage of some of the other stuff that's available in the game. So that's kind of my jumbled thoughts on it. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree that the AI, it should be tighter. The AI should be smarter. It should be more difficult to beat because the AI is better at the game. It shouldn't be because the AI is a tank. The RNG should be done with completely scrapped out of the game. Get it out of there, please. And, the storyline should be tighter. There should be some options. There should be better dialogue. Their mouths should move. We should have tails. We should have better custom character stuff. We should have all of that. And I want to see all of that. But I want to see all of that, in the future. I'm less concerned with that right now. The stuff that I talked about in my last video is the stuff that I want to see right away. And I think that those are the things that are going to determine, right out of the gate, whether Xenoverse 2 is going to be that much of a better game than Xenoverse 1. And I really think it's going to be. I really honestly do. From the stuff that I've seen so far, from the stuff that I've read, from the trailers they've released, from people that I've talked to that have, played the game a decent amount already, just based on those little bitty tidbits, they put some effort into the game. They put some effort into Xenoverse 2. They took into account how Xenoverse went down, and they're going to fix those things. And the stuff that I talked about in this video, I think that they were already planning on addressing. I think that those things that they're already, kind of premeditated to get better from one game to the next. They're going to get better from the first game to the sequel, not prequel. So those are kind of my thoughts on it. I wanted you guys to know that you're not alone in those thoughts. I'm thinking the same thing as you guys. We're on the same page here. It's just that I don't think those things are first on the list. They're not the number one priority that I would fix. And I understand that they are for some of you. For a single player experience, some of you only want to play single player. You don't really want to play online, and that's fine. And you know what? I agree. For you guys, those things, I hope that they do get fixed. But in the last video, it wasn't just it wasn't completely what the community, it was what I thought too. And as much as I've played the game online, as much as I played the game, period, that is where I felt like that stuff needed to be improved. So that's kind of why I made the video, and I just wanted to wrap that up and just say that I appreciate you guys. I appreciated your feedback so much on that last video. It was really, really cool, and I'm glad that a lot of us are on the same page, because I know the majority of us probably do play online quite a bit. I know there are a lot of you out there that do just play, the story mode only, and that's completely fine. That's completely fine. I hope that Xenoverse 2 is a better game. I hope that you pick it up and you can enjoy it, and you get just as much enjoyment out of it as I do. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and I offered a little bit more clarity behind my thought process, because I wasn't trying to leave anyone out in the cold or confuse anyone with the updates that I stated, or just think that that Xenoverse 2 should only be a multiplayer game or things like that. It was solely meant to be the top 3 #1 priority things that I think are necessary to make Xenoverse 2 immediately come out ahead over Xenoverse. And like I said, I really do think the game is going to be better. I think they've put in the time, the research, they've listened to the feedback, and I think it's going to be a great game. So I hope you guys are excited as well. If you did enjoy this video, if we're kind of on the same wavelength, then drop a like on the video. Drop your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on it all. If you want to ramble on for 45 minutes about how you feel about the game, let me know. I'll read the comments, and I'll be down there talking to you guys as well. If this is your first time stopping by my channel, make sure you get subscribed, because there is going to be a ton of Xenoverse 2 content coming on my channel in the near future. There's going to be some hopefully new stuff in the fairly close future, and then some even more non-stop Xenoverse 2 coverage once we get closer and closer to release. So make sure you are subscribed for all that kind of stuff, and as always, I will talk to you in the next video. Later.